Are you living your best life? It goes by so fast. In a blink of an eye, I'm 50. How did I get here? I've done a lot of things in my life that have led me up to this point here. When I was 20 years old, I moved to California and I became a massage therapist. I was ahead of the curve. Nobody I knew at 27 years ago was even giving massages. Then I went into whitewater rafting. That's not really anything new, but that was really fun to do for a lot of years. And even when I went through massage school 27 years ago, I knew I would want to go to teach yoga. I had heard that yoga was the natural way to keep the body in tune. So I thought, I'm going to do that one day. In about 10 years I did. I went to India to study. And that's a great tool to have right now with being a mindset coach. I just want people to live their best life. So I came across a program that's called Thinking into Results. And why I joined this here is because I really want your feedback as colleagues. I want to be able to get up and stand in front of people and talk confidently and calmly and just at the top of my head, say whatever I am feeling in that moment without being scripted to a script. So I gave 3 presentations so far. And as you know, you can't sell anybody on the product. Thinking into Results, well, why do I want to join that? They say there's 2 reasons why people do anything. It's to avoid a loss or to make a gain. So you're going to be hearing a lot from me so that you guys can help me to form a better speech to help people realize that everyone can do this. This is for individuals, it's for families, and it is for businesses. And I have a very sanguine personality to help people do this. It was coming up. Thanks, you all were looking at it. So, Thinking into Results has been around for about 12 years. It was designed by Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher. I don't think there's a better program in the world. Think about this. We have cell phones, right? And they need updates all the time. Your car, it needs a tune-up. It needs an oil change. Your roof, painting of the house, they need to be addressed. So we work out and we eat right, but what do we do about our minds? Nothing, unless you're seeing a therapist because you're going through a divorce or you're depressed. And they all just want to put you on drugs anyways. So Thinking into Results, I work with people for 6 months to a year. It's 12 lessons long. I'm just briefly going to go over the first 6 like I did before, and I could talk in depth. And I think I'll do another speech on just the stick figure itself, because that I could talk to you about an hour. This is all based off of science, psychology, and theology. This is taught in almost 100 countries. There's about 2,000 consultants around the world and just growing. I found out there's a lot of doctors, a lot of neuroscience, a lot of neuroscience doctors in this. Psychologists are involved in this. So the first lesson that we do is called the worthy ideal. This is where you're just really setting a goal. What is it that you want in your life? You're not a ship just out there in the middle, just bobbing out to sea with no port to go to. That you really focus on what do you want and how are you getting there and where are you now? The second one is the knowing and doing gap. The knowing and doing gap is what are you doing and what do you know to do better? What are those actions that you need to take to get you to that spot? The third one is your infinite mind. And I love this one. This is what using your mind to get what you want. Our minds have this thing, we only use 3% of our conscious mind. The other 97% approximately is the subconscious. And what lies in that subconscious is your paradigm. And that's a big word that we deal with the whole 12 months. Your paradigms are your subconscious, your beliefs and your behaviors. And how did they get in there? And that's where we operate from, a lot of places in fear. And it's not even who we truly are. We're not really living our best life because we're just kind of going through the actions of what we were told for those first 0 through 6 years in our lives. The fourth one is the secret genie. Secret genie is the one I will talk on next. This is the stick figure that Dr. Thurman Fleet made up in 1934 because you needed something to relate to when you were talking about the mind. People want to think about the brain. And he shows this stick figure where you have a big stick figure and it's 3% of the conscious mind, and then you have the subconscious, and that the body is just is an instrument of what the mind tells it to do. And we spend a lot of time talking about the stick figure. And that the subconscious can't reject or accept anything. It's your conscious mind, that 3%. What are we thinking about? What are you consciously putting into your mind? Because the subconscious is like, oh, it just does anything. So we start consciously thinking and start consciously impressing into that subconscious that impresses into the body, that gives us our actions, that gives us our results. The fifth one is thinking into results. The trick to staying in charge no matter what. This is where you learn about your sensories. What we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. But your dog can do that. A giraffe can do that. We have mental faculties. Your mental faculties are your imagination. That's what God gave us so we could focus forward and dream what we want to dream. And why does that seem so crazy that we can dream where we want to be? We have a memory that can remember everything from our past. It also includes the will, the perception, the reasoning. The sixth one is the environment was at our looking glass. And that's our self-image. How do we see ourselves? We should write the own movie for our own script. Be the director, be the movie star, be everything. Because the self-image is fixed in your subconscious mind. And no one else in the rest of the world sees you except for how you see yourself. So the bottom line is, nothing on the outside is going to change until you start changing what's going on in the inside. And how do you do that? By getting an update. Start evaluating yourself. Start thinking about it. Start thinking into results so that you can be living your best life.
Thank you, Bobbi Jo.
Thank you.